You're not stuck because life is unfair. You're stuck because you keep repeating the same pattern in new situations and then call the result a surprise. New job, same disrespect. New relationship, same wound. New plan, same collapse. You change the people, the place, the strategy, the timing, and after a while it all starts smelling the same again. Right? The world's not out to get you. You're in a loop. And the worst part is that the loop can feel so normal, you stop questioning it and start questioning yourself. You start thinking, maybe this is just who you are. Maybe this is all life is. Well, it is not. At some point, you have to stop calling that bad luck. Because when the people change, the place changes, the details change, and the feeling still comes back the same way, what you're looking at is not a series of separate problems. You're looking at a pattern. And if you don't see it for what it is, you can spend years tearing down the surface, rebuilding, starting over, trying again, only to find you've built the same experience with slightly different wallpaper. So let me clarify something first. This is not a theory to me. I was trained in master alignment. I've had psychotherapists send me clients when something kept repeating in their lives and they couldn't find what was underneath it. I've helped people break those loops. And I do the same work in my own life, from small reactions to patterns that took years to reveal themselves. So when I tell you the same experience can keep rebuilding itself in different forms, I'm not speculating. I've seen it too many times. More importantly, I had to face it in myself before I could speak clearly about it. So in the Lucid Dreamer, this sits inside what I call the dreamer's map. And the first thing that becomes obvious once you see it is this. It's not bad luck. It's pattern memory. A fractal of belief looping until interrupted. And until you see the pattern, you're not choosing. You're reacting and reliving the feeling. Because the feeling is the thread. It's not the person, the place, or the timing. My pattern was betrayal. It showed up in every part of life where I was generally invested, whether it be work, service, relationships, different settings, different faces, different circumstances. But when I looked at what it felt like on the inside, it carried the same charge every single time. So for a long time, I did what most people do. I kept reading the surface. I thought, yeah, I'm just unlucky with people. Or the event was the information. Well, you know what? It wasn't. And the first place it became impossible for me to ignore it was in relationships, because that's where the charge is the strongest. So every time I was genuinely open and truly invested, I kept arriving at the same place internally. Not just heartbreak, but betrayal. That exact feeling. And once I finally saw it there, I could look back and find it everywhere else too. I was club captain at the rowing club. I coordinated a full commercial shoot for an ad agency. A week on location, 2 crews, film, stills, and they kept wanting to pay me. Every time they offered, I just redirected it back to the club because it was a voluntarily run club. So I ended up securing a boat, oars, equipment, and I made sure the athletes got reimbursed because they took time off their summer jobs. They were all students, and I took nothing. That was a choice I made. A week after it wrapped up, the club president ran a similar arrangement with the bank and kept the money. So I handed in my resignation the following week. I never told the membership why. So to most people there, it just looked like I was the person who walked away for no reason. And that is part of what the pattern can do. It doesn't only wound you, sometimes it leaves you carrying the wound while looking like a problem from the outside. Right? So for me, it was the same pattern, just different settings. And here's what took me the longest to accept. Right? Leaving didn't solve it. I left the club cleanly, quietly, from my perspective, right, with my integrity intact, so I thought. And really, it didn't matter because the pattern didn't care how I exited the scene, right? It was already waiting in the next one. So most people think that the answer is to change the visible thing. Leave the job, leave the relationship, move, start over, change the cast. And sometimes you do need to leave. Sometimes the job is wrong for you. Sometimes the relationship really is wrong. But what most people never stop to ask is whether the same internal experience is coming with them. Because what you haven't resolved, you unconsciously recreate. Not as punishment, but as a signal, right? A reflection, an opportunity for conscious growth. You think you're changing your life, you're only changing the wallpaper. In the Lucid Dreamer, I lay this out as directly as possible in what I call the manual code. So your thoughts are the blueprint, your emotions are the voltage, your beliefs are the broadcast. And that combination is your signal that you're sending out into the world subconsciously. And if you walk into a new situation carrying the same thought, the same emotional charge, the same old conclusion, the setting may be may be new, but the pattern is still alive. And that's why repetition starts to feel like proof. Proof that people can't be trusted, or proof that you always get overlooked, or when you finally open up, you get hurt. But what feels like proof is just pattern memory, repeating itself until it's finally seen for what it is. It's not fate. It's not some curse that you're stuck with forever. It's a signal that hasn't shifted yet. So here's the only move that actually works. Don't break the pattern by starting over. You break it by becoming lucid enough to catch it while it's running. In the Lucid Dreamer, I call this the lucid calibration. And there are 3 questions that sit at the very heart of it. When the pattern opens, when something happens and you feel that old hit light up in your body, just stop right then and ask, what am I consistently thinking about this? What emotion am I most familiar with in my body right now, in the moment? What do I actually believe is possible for me? Now, if those 3 don't match, pause and retune. Right? Here's an example. You're in a meeting. Someone dismisses your idea. And immediately you feel that familiar, right? The old version of you either reacts, goes quiet, or starts building a story. But if you stop and catch it in real time, what am I thinking? Okay, they always overlook me. What am I feeling? Well, small, invisible. What do I believe? That this always happens to me. Now you're not just inside the loop. You're looking at it. Okay, that doesn't mean years of pattern disappear in one moment. Usually they don't. You catch it. You miss it. You catch it sooner, and then sooner again. And over time, that repeated honesty begins to change something deeper than behavior. It begins to change what you're actually broadcasting. Because once you see the pattern, you're no longer stuck inside it. You're now awake. You're the dreamer. So if this resonated with you, tell me where you keep seeing the same pattern repeat in your life. I read every comment. Thank you.